Good afternoon. I'm Kate Deaver from Consumer Credit Counseling Service. We offer several services to the community, but one of our new services is identity theft resolution and prevention. Today, we'd like to address issues that are specific to seniors and caregivers, and hopefully you'll find this informative. One of the first things is we want to make sure everyone's aware of identity theft, but for caretakers in particular, they have the added duty of informing those that they care about and protecting them to the extent that they can from the different aspects of identity theft. One of the major sources of information on identity theft is the Federal Trade Commission. That's where I get a lot of my information. It's a source for me. It's where everyone who's a victim of identity theft should report it. They keep statistics on identity theft and then provide that to law enforcement. They provide it to government agencies so they know where to spend funds on protection or enforcement, and also to different public agencies or even lawmakers. So that's the main source for identity theft information. The problem is that a lot of people don't report that they're a victim of identity theft to the Federal Trade Commission, and they don't report for various reasons. They don't want to get anybody in trouble, lots of different reasons. Sometimes it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of information that you have to gather. So for this reason, sometimes those statistics that we get from the Federal Trade Commission are not necessarily correct. Seniors in particular fail to report for several reasons. They feel responsible for what's happened, and they somehow think it's their fault. So again, the statistics that the Federal Trade Commission has on seniors is not necessarily accurate. There's also an emotional impact when you're a victim of identity theft. Seniors in particular have specific ones. They feel like they've been gullible. They feel like they're embarrassed that it's happened to them, that they don't want anyone to think they're incapable of taking care of themselves, so they keep it quiet and don't report it. Remember, it's not your fault when someone else breaks the law. Be informed. You want to avoid identity theft if at all possible, because there's financial loss that can be accompanying with it. There's the emotional impact, the frustration of getting it resolved, and just want to avoid becoming a victim at all. As someone told me earlier, it takes almost 2 years sometimes to get it cleared up. There's 5 basic things that I think everyone needs to know about identity theft to protect themselves from becoming a victim. First of all, who are the victims? Second, who are the thieves? Third, how they get your information. Fourth, how they use it. And then fifth, what action and when to take action. Okay, first of all, who are the victims? I'm concentrating today on seniors. 23% of the victims are over 50. Now, that's only about 1/4 of the victims, but again, remember that we're talking not all seniors report, so I think this number is probably very much higher. We also know that when victims over the age of 50 are hit by identity theft, that it's usually much more devastating. You can see here by the statistics, over 65, this is according to the Federal Trade Commission, their surveys, it's only 6%, over 65, 60 to 64 is 4%, and 50 to 59 or 13%. That makes up the 23%, but again, I think it is actually much higher. Why are seniors targets? Because they have excellent credit. They have Social Security checks, they have more savings, and they usually don't have a mortgage, or their house is paid off. So that makes them prime targets for identity theft. Also, we grew up in a more trusting era, so we are more trusting. We're friendlier, not as cautious, willing to get along with other people. So we're more trusting of people that are trying to scam us. And also because we're not connected to the internet necessarily, we're not always as quickly informed as maybe some of the younger kids are that are all the time texting each other and that kind of thing. Next is, who are the thieves? Surprisingly enough, 16% are someone you know. 48% are female. 8% are friends, neighbors, or in-home employees, and 6% are families. Okay. What I want to do is also caution you and not make you afraid of everyone that's in your home. You don't want to be afraid of the people that come in and care for you. But the best thing to do is to avoid any kind of suspicion, have open communication, document if there's an exchange of money or if someone has to have access to your information, document that this has been done, and that's for your protection as well as for theirs. How do thieves get your information? 56% of the victims don't know how the thieves got their information. It could be terrorists working for the cause. It could be computer hackers. It could be drug addicts who've got nothing else. They don't have a job, so all they have to do is dumpster dive and put together shredded information. It could be anybody, but it could also be someone in your home. It could be where you've lost or stolen your purse, dumpster diving, your trash if you don't shred it. Sometimes we call into call centers. We have an advertisement that, on TV that we call in, and we don't know who's taking that call or where that call is being directed. Also, one place that you don't suspect are government databases, where you pay your tax records, where you pay your car license, your driver's license. You don't know who all those people are, and it's difficult not to trust people, but you need to be cautious and aware. I recently found out that my son's school loan, his Social Security number is his account number, and it's on his credit report, all the government documents. So for every credit report anybody's ever pulled, they now have his Social Security number. So you just don't know where all they're going to get that information. So you want to prevent as much as you possibly can. Next thing is how they use your information. The Federal Trade Commission has developed 7 different categories, and I'd just like to go through these and explain them to you, and that kind of gives you an idea of how identity theft happens and how it's used. For example, employment. Your Social Security number, if they get it, can be provided to an employer so that they can obtain a job. And what that does is affect your employment record, so it shows that you work someplace you never ever worked. It can be reported to the IRS as income, and that could knock you off of some kind of benefits if it's income dependent. Or you may have to pay more taxes. You get a letter from the IRS saying, hey, you owe us more money. So none of those are good things. And they can use your Social Security number to obtain credit as well. They can make charges to your existing account if they can get a credit card number, if they have your address. Usually credit cards now, they go with zip codes. If they've got your zip code, they can usually charge to your account if they have the account number. Then they'll change the address so that you don't get the bills, so you don't know that these charges have been made. And then they keep charging, and eventually you'll get late fees and over the limit fees, and then eventually collection calls. And then if you want to buy a new car or air conditioner or something and need credit, there goes your credit report. So it's very important to keep that information safeguarded. Other uses, this is a category that the FTC has just put everything else into. For example, medical identity theft. If, for example, someone has AIDS and wants to be tested, they could use your identity, go in and be tested, and now it looks like you have AIDS and can deny you of some medical benefits. Apartment rentals, they can use your name to rent an apartment, or even I've had clients who've had someone purchase a home in their name. Unbelievable. If they buy car insurance in your name and are in an accident, that shows on your insurance, and your insurance benefits or charges could go up each month, your rates. Criminal activity, if they have a driver's license, if they obtain a driver's license in your name, and then they're in an accident or they're avoiding some kind of legal activity, they provide that identification. And then the next time there's a warrant out for their arrest, they come looking for you. And a lot of it also happens on the internet. Again, the fourth category is banks. If they get your information, they can go open up a new bank account, write a lot of non-sufficient fund checks, and then collection companies are calling you because of the bad checks. Or they can use your existing account and do what's called check washing. If you use checks, they put a piece of tape over the signature and then wash the rest of the information, write the check out for whatever amount they want. And there goes your bank account. And also there's a possibility of electronic funds like ATMs, those kind of charges. Number 5 is utilities. This is a common one. Getting cell phones in someone else's name. They don't pay the bill, just get another cell phone, and then if it happens to be you that they got the cell phone under, you're then liable for those charges. They also get home phones, satellite and cable TV is another common one, and some even get electricity and gas in someone else's name. Number 6 is loans, buying a car in someone else's name, real estate loans, as I said, purchasing a home, even student loans they've gotten in someone else's name. And those are very difficult to prove it's not you. The last category is government documents, tax returns. If they can get a Social Security number, claim it as a dependent on their income tax return, then they pay less taxes, and then you can't there's fallout for you as far as the IRS. Again, driver's license, passports, benefits like food stamps, Medicare, Social Security, all those things can be obtained with false identity if they have enough information. Okay, so now that we know about identity theft and how it can be used, what do we do? Don't wait until you're a victim. Take action now, and the action that I propose is prevention. I have 10 tactics to prevent identity theft, and I'd like to review those with you next. The first one is major. Protect your Social Security number. Ask questions. Why is the Social Security number needed? How will it be used? How is it protected if you give it to them? And what happens if you don't provide it? Is there another number that they can use instead of your Social Security number? Second is secure your home front. Store your important papers in a lockbox, or if you have a safe at home, you know, something in a lock or a combination where you can keep that information. Keep your checkbooks so they can't steal a check, a blank check. Keep your Social Security cards. I know it says carry them with you, but if you don't absolutely need it, it's a good idea to keep it at home. Copies of your credit cards, I suggest making copies of the front and the back, because now you need that security code on the back, and that's to cancel it if it's stolen. You've got the number and the security code and all that information. Keep your tax returns in a safe place. It's got your Social Security number, a lot of information about you, and any other important papers that you have, medical papers, anything like that. Keep them safe. Don't leave them laying around, because, again, someone in your home could be the culprit. Check your credit report. Once a year, you can get one for free from each of the 3 agencies. I suggest staggering it so you get actually 3 credit reports a year. If you don't know how to read it or anything, someone from our office can assist you in that. However, the ones that you get from this source are very easy to read. You can call this number. You can get it in the mail, but you have to call and get a special form that they will only send it to you if you request their form and complete it and mail it. Or if you have internet access, you can get it at www.annualcreditreport.com. There's a lot of advertisements for free credit reports, but this is the official site where it's actually for free. Some of the other sites offer it for free, but they require a purchase of some kind. Credit report protection. This is something that Texas allows. Many of the other states are also allowing it, but it's free. And if you aren't going to be buying anything on credit, I advise it very strongly. It restricts access to your credit report by anyone new. Now, it does not restrict access to people that you already, or companies that you already have a relationship with. For example, if you already have a credit report or credit card, they're going to be able to continue to report that you've paid it on time and those kind of things. But it is now allowed for anyone in Texas. I do caution you, it is an extreme measure. So if you plan on using credit any time in the next 10 years, you probably don't want to do this. There is a fee to remove it, and you have to keep your contact information. I did know of someone who had placed a credit freeze and then couldn't get it off because they had not kept their contact information up and didn't know their passwords and those kind of things. So it's an extreme measure, but it is a good one to keep anyone from getting you any new credit in your name. Be cautious of the unknown, which is kind of just saying don't be so trustworthy and not being so friendly, which is difficult to do for especially our age group. But we need to remember not to give out personal information to unexpected callers. They can be very friendly, and they know how to manipulate, and they can seem very honest. But if you don't know who it is, you should not give them any personal information. Ask them to send you something in writing or get a number to call back so you can check on that. Don't respond to letters from unconfirmed sources. This is one of the biggest scams that many seniors get caught in. And I know of a lot of people who've received checks in the mail and it sounds really good, cash it, and then the check's no good and they're out money. So if you don't know where the letter's coming from, it's best to research it first. And don't answer the door. A lot of door-to-door scams. They're very convincing, very friendly, look very honest, but there are numerous door-to-door scams that get a lot of information and get a lot of people in trouble. The other thing is to opt out. This has been in effect for several years, so many of you may already know about opting out, but in case you haven't, here are the phone numbers to call to opt out of credit card offers, of telemarketing calls. Junk mail, they don't have a phone number. They do require that you write to them. And so I provided the address to you. Keep your credit cards and identification close when you're out and about. If you're going to the restaurant, you may have heard of swiping, where the waiter takes the credit card and swipes it and gathers your information and then sells it later. So you want to watch where that credit card is. And then recently I heard they ask for identification and then keep your identification. So also make sure that it's returned to you as well. Practice safe shopping. Don't leave your purse in the cart unattended. Somebody can walk off with it very easily and there's all of your information. It won't be as bad if you've already kept copies and kept your Social Security card at home, but still it's information that you don't want someone else to have. Be aware of your surroundings. If you're using an ATM, watch for somebody standing over your shoulder, watching for your PIN, or if there's hidden cameras, or there's they're very ingenious in ways of getting your information. I recommend that the safest way to shop is to pay with a credit card and then, of course, pay it off at the end of the month. That way your liability is limited to either nothing if you report it right away or $50 depending on your particular credit card agreement. Use the safe checks and pins. I explained a little bit about check washing before. Don't pre-print your driver's license or Social Security number on your check. And guard your mail. We recommend a locked mailbox so that you have to use a key to get in your mail so no one can go by and pull out your statements or any checks that you've received or any checks that you're mailing out. And don't use the red flag. The red flag that says pick up the mail also tells the identity thieves that they can pick up your mail and get all kinds of information and maybe even some checks that they can wash by sending out the mail. Also, I recommend shred everything. You can take advantage of a lot of community shredding events. They're like so many pounds that they'll shred for free. Or if you can get a crosscut shredder, those are a little bit more expensive because a lot of the times they can put this back together. So the other recommendation is to shred everything, not just important documents, because it makes it a lot more difficult to put things back together. The more you know about identity theft, the less likely you will become a victim, the less likely you'll be caught in a scam. For more information, I do have a website. It's www.identitytheftcounseling.org. These are two websites for the Federal Trade Commission if you have internet access. Or you can call Consumer Credit Counseling Service. Our 800 number is 1-800-410-2227, or locally it's 979-4330. It's actually 4300. I'm sorry. That's our fax number, and that's also our website. Thank you very much for your attention, and I appreciate the opportunity to give you this information.